everyone, it's Melody with Design by Melody. Welcome to what are we, Monday? Yes, welcome to Monday. There we go. I hope you are all doing well. I have a new project for you today. Now, this is not something that I have shared before on my channel, but every once in a while I like to do a journaling page. And with my album this year being the disc-bound album, I had found that it has been very nice to use these little 6x8 journaling pads. And this one's actually from Chamel. This is the Sparkle City 6x8 journaling pad. And I went to Pinterest and found a quote that I wanted to include in this album, in my 2020 album, that kind of went along with the journaling I did. I shared a picture of this journaling page on my Instagram page, probably about 2 weeks ago. So if you missed that, if you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you go over there and follow so you can see the different projects that I'm posting. I don't post everything here on my YouTube channel. I do try to post the projects that may be a little bit more involved, or maybe I'm using a specific set of papers that I want to share with you. I will make sure that I do process videos for those, but sometimes I don't share absolutely everything. Like, I didn't share the journaling page on here because I actually sat at my computer desk and did that instead of sitting at my craft desk. I have 3 different desks in my office, funny enough. Maybe I'll do a new scrap room tour at some point. I actually changed offices in my home, so maybe I will share that at one point. But anyways, back to this particular layout. So I found a quote that I wanted to use that went along with the journaling that's on the back side of this page. Those 2 pages will just be glued together. So when you're flipping through the album, you'll be able to see the journaling on the front side and the quote on the back side. And both the papers for the journaling as well as this quote paper are both from the Chamel Sparkle City stamp pad. Paper pad. It's the 6x8 journal pad. Now, what I did is I went through all of my alpha stamps and I organized my stamps by type. So I have like all my alpha stamps put together. I have all my like holiday stamps put together. I have all of my just generic stamps put together. I do make sure that I label them with the manufacturer and the name of the stamp set if there is a name, so I can reference that later, which I will tell you where all of these stamp sets come from. However, I think only one is actually still available, and it is quite discounted in the Felicity Jane shop, so I don't know if it's going to be one that they are getting rid of. It's like 70% off, I think, or 75% off, I think, when I looked at it last. So if you like the Felicity Jane stamp set that I use, I would highly recommend going to get it. And that's actually the one I'm using right now, this smaller, kind of simpler stamp, the one that I stamped with Will. So the 5 stamp sets that I use, they are all alpha stamp sets. I use the Malia Alphabet by Ellie Studio. I use the Walden Print stamp set by Studio 29 Designs. That's the really small one. And that one is no longer available. The company's not even in business anymore. I use the Jonah Alphabet by Ellie Studio. So I have 2 Ellie Studio alphas, which neither one of them are available in the shop right now, but they do offer a lot of different alpha stamps. So I would highly recommend still going to look at what alphabet stamps that they have in their shop, because I really like the quality as well as the different designs. Then of course there's the Felicity Jane Basic lowercase alpha that I mentioned that I used for the word. I think those are the ones that were stamped in Will, and that one's a very nice size as well as quality stamp set as well. And then the very last one is Lisa's Letters, and that's the Sunshine Stamp Company alphabet stamp set. And Sunshine Stamp Company is still in business, but they're no longer offering the physical products, so that one's no longer available either. But I was on their design team a couple years ago and got the stamp set while I was on their design team. Now I've got my entire quote stamped out, and it says, even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. Now if you look super closely, I kind of took out a lot of the film where I was just kind of trying to figure out sizing and all of that. But essentially what I did is I drew lines using my T-square ruler just so I could stamp straight. But I did each word in a different alpha. So I don't have 2 alphas of the same right next to each other, except for the word and the, because those were the smaller words. I wanted to have them in that smaller alpha. But other than that, I tried to alternate the alphas that I chose for each of the words. And then because this background paper is so beautiful, I'm only adding some pretty small elements to the page to decorate it. I am just using the scraps that are right here on my desk. I did not pull anything out from my stash, just the scraps. I've got some little stickers from the Reset Girl kit that I had purchased a couple years ago. I have those little like dotted as well as the arrow are from there. I am cutting out some beautiful little flowers from some scrap papers I have in my stash. I don't know what the flower that at the top is going to be from. I can't remember where that's from, but the one at the bottom is from a Cocoa Daisy planner sheet from a couple years ago. I just cut out one of the flowers that was on that planner sheet that I still happen to have. And then I'm going to also cut out a few other little florals just from some random little bits of scraps that are going to be placed on this page as well. I'm keeping it fairly simple because I really liked the pattern that's on the background paper, the 6x8 paper from the Chamel Sparkle City journaling pad. It's so pretty with kind of the purple fading into the pink. It looks like a night sky, and then I really thought it worked well with the quote that says, "Even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise," because it's almost like a sunrise. Almost like a sunrise. I just thought it was so beautiful. So this is a fairly simple layout, but I just think it's interesting to include different types of projects in your albums and to be able to get my journaling down, my thoughts down, especially right now when we're kind of in the middle of something that is not normal for us. This pandemic is really not a normal thing that we go through. So I thought it was important to kind of get some thoughts down just throughout the process. And I do have my journaling dated. It's dated May 1st, 2020. I probably need to go ahead and do another journaling page because my thoughts have already changed since that. That was like 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So my thoughts have already changed since then. So if you don't include journaling pages in your album, or if you, I don't scrapbook typically current photos, so the journaling that I put on those photos is relevant to those photos, but it's not necessarily my in-the-moment emotional journaling that I might include, such as I did here. So if you don't include journaling, I think it's really kind of important to include certain things like this in your albums. And I like the variation of the different page sizes and the stamping. And by the way, the ink that I used throughout was a Hero Art Shadow ink. It's the mid-tone charcoal ink, and that is my absolute favorite stamping ink. I either use that or I use Memento Tuxedo Black, but I really like this charcoal ink. It's definitely... it reads more of a black than it does a gray, but I think it kind of softens the stamping a bit without it being quite so dark, I guess. I mean, that's kind of dumb to say because it is gray versus black, but you kind of get my point. So that's a quick look at the journaling page as well. You can kind of see that here. That ends our process video for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this project. A little bit different for me. It's something I haven't shared here before, but I do like the way that this turned out. So if you are not following me here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And like I said, make sure you go follow me on Instagram so you can get more photos of things I'm working on. All right, guys. Bye.